Okay.
Good afternoon everybody and welcome back to Plannercraft. So as you will have seen on the group, hopefully, I carried on being a little bit naughty and I've been having a bit of a play while you've all been having lunch, hopefully.
Give everybody a chance to join in.
Yeah.
Just start with one.
So hopefully you all saw the message about installing Affinity Photo. So I'm going to be doing a little bit on Affinity Photo. If you haven't installed it yet, don't worry, you can always go back and have a play after. It's well worth having. I did it mainly because I wanted to apply some effects to some textures, and I can't find a way of doing it in Designer, which would be the logical place to do it, but no, it doesn't want to do it. So we ended up going into Photo instead. How are we doing? Don't forget to say hi in the comments just so we know that you are watching. So a little bit about images. If I go into Finder, I have open. I'm just going to take that one down out of the way for the minute. I found some wood textures. They're just PNGs, and literally all I did was drag it in to my document. That's literally it.
Sarah Lou's here.
Hi Sarah Lou. So basically, if we wanted to, we can then take that image and we can drag it into our roof curve. Now, as long as your blue line lines up to the right hand side of your curve little preview box, it actually acts as a mask. So if I zoom out and I'll shrink that down so you can see it a bit better.
Hayley isn't there.
Hey Hayley. So I might just leave it in there, quite like that. And we can still apply more textures on top of textures. So in that respect, it's good doing it this way. Okay. But let's say, we've got this line here which looks okay, but this one down here doesn't. We can actually go to File, and before I do this, actually, I will save. Just in case. So, I'm going to go into Edit Photo, and it will go into Photo, hopefully, eventually, when it feels like it. Come on, be nice to me. There we go. Don't know why I popped it down there, but hey ho. So, in Affinity Photo, we can still have access to all the same layers, except this time we can start to apply effects and filters to it. So I've got my wood textures selected, and if we go to Filter, Distort, and we can go to Perspective. So this brings up our bounding box, and we can start to manipulate individual points of that so that we get our lines where we want them. Hi Mum. I'm just going to tweak that bottom line. Okay. So at this point we can just click onto something else. Oh, not like that. Let's try that one again, shall we? Gonna misbehave now. Come on, be nice. You were so well behaved earlier.
No pressure.
No pressure. You did this earlier. Do it now. There we go. Okay. So I will admit I was a little bit naughty. So if I turn on my two, there's that, and I have another two that are sitting in my little front section. So basically your texture is just a black layer that's sitting on top of the colour. So at this point we can start to add a bit more detail. So let's go for put a new layer. I'm just going to pop it underneath, there we go. Because I still want to keep that texture on top. Makes my life a little easier. Okay. Just remember what I was going to do before I restarted. Hey ho.
What's that?
Swap round. Just because it's easier with a brush. So we can actually, if I make my brush bigger, and I'm going to bring in a bit of the sandy tones and make my brush nice and soft so that we can start to do a bit of warm paint. What?
Carol, sorry I missed the start to not get a notification. My C looks more like a Southern Old Army and Navy Stores boxer short than a C.
Okay, I will help you out in a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to literally drop in some rough areas of colour. You don't have to be too precise at this point.
Are you still in photo
We
at
want
the
it to
moment?
look nice and rough.
Are
Huh?
you still in photo at the moment, or are you back in?
Yep, still in photo. So I want it to look like it's been kind of bleached and
Weathered.
weathered. It's had a bit of a beating. So I've turned the opacity down to 40% so that when I go back over areas, you'll find that it goes patchy, which is what I want. I want patchy. If you want a nice smooth blend, there are other ways of doing it. So we'll go rough and patchy for this one.
Can you just get back over how you got the wood panelling in? Because Carol missed it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So I will just finish off this section and I will go back. So if I go back to edit in Designer, so into Designer. So you can see our changes that we made have come through. So to drag in the texture, let's skip forward a little bit to what I was planning, and I will go to my glitter papers and let's drag in some blue. There we go. So it'll always come in at the same scale to your document. Okay, so for instance this is 12 by 12 with bleeds at 300 dpi. That's the other thing I forgot to mention, you didn't mention it, sweetie, is I've changed the resolution of my file as well. Okay, so to do that you go to File, Document Setup, Rescale, and then 300. Okay, so now that we've got our image in there, I'm just going to group my little beach hut. Good, and there we go. And I'm going to go into my background layer and I want to drop this into my curve. So now I've added glitter card to my C. So at the moment that's pretty overpowering. So I'm just going to knock it back. And it's just there just to give us a little bit of texture. And you can do the same for the sand as well.
Sarah Davis says, have you downloaded these textures or are they in the program, please?
The glitter card is from Design Bundles, but you could just literally scan in a piece of glitter card. So there's nothing fancy about the actual file itself. It's not that it's a seamless one. You can just literally scan in textures and use those in your work.
What about your wood texture? Do you know where that came from?
No, not a clue. I searched wood and it came up. I knew I had some somewhere on the computer, but it is exactly that somewhere. So it's not telling me at the moment, so...
So yes, they are downloaded.
But again, with the wood texture, if you had like some wooden flooring or something like that that you could photograph, you could bring in your own photograph. Saves hassle with copyright. Okay. So I'm looking at my beach hut. Next I need to do this side, so I'm just going to save that. Always save it each time you go back to Designer. And it literally hands the whole file backwards and forwards.
Sarah says, I guess with photos I've taken I could do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you can even go so far as to cheat with your seascape. If you've got like a beach photo that you've taken, you can use like elements from it. We did that as a video, didn't we?
What's that?
The extent going beyond the photo with the layout that I did with Lucy's photograph.
Somewhere.
Should
On
be on
YouTube, I think.
YouTube, yeah.
We can always redo it now using Affinity rather than, because that was using Photoshop, wasn't it?
No, that was hand painted.
The hand.
The hand painted one. But yes, I will look at doing that as a...
Digital. Painted.
Oh. So I'm just going to pop that layer back behind me. Oh. Come here. There. That's where I didn't want you. So you want to make sure they all line up. I'm going to start to brush this in. So I'm going to say the wind comes this way, so it's going to be much paler on this edge, and then it sweeps back across this side. And to a certain extent the texture itself can dictate that to you. The fact that it has this dark patch there might mean that it's got some old layers of paint that you can apply after and things like that. And don't forget, we don't have to worry about going over the edges. The brush that I'm using currently doesn't really bother about the pressure that I'm using on the graphics tablet, so you could just as easily do this bit with a mouse. So, nearly done, just to add in a few patches to start working with. Okay, then I've clicked on my top texture on that panel, and I'm going to do another new layer. And this is where I'm going to work with a darker brown. Now you could use one of the other browns that's in the document, and that works better in terms of keeping a consistency for your image. So I'm just literally going to click down one end. If I press and hold shift, it draws a line. And I'm using a nice soft brush. Then we're going to press E for eraser. We're going to give this a hard edge. I can make it a bit smaller as well. So that's open square bracket to make it smaller. So press and hold shift and click the other end. And you can do that as many times as you like, just to get that line accurate. So basically what that shift does is it draws a straight line between your starting click and your second click. And we can flick back to brush. Okay. Then over here, if we decide that, you know, we need to deepen that colour, we can actually get the layer to work for us rather than having to recolour it all. So I usually use multiply, others use darken. So basically it multiplies the colour underneath with the colour on top and so forth. So you end up with a darker colour. And you can see we're starting to get a form to our planks of wood. How's everybody doing so far? Have I lost everybody yet? And also remember that, so that when you then draw subsequent layers, it will, as long as you're using the same brush, it will go back to the same colour. That's the one I'm looking for. I'm just going to pop a little bit just in that top corner in there, just so it looks a little bit more like there's a plank still continuing underneath. Okay, and we can do the same to this side, and again if we set it to multiply we still have the same paint selected. Now with this one, because we know it's a straight line, we can press and hold shift and you can draw a line straight down. Okay, so I'll do that again. Click, press and hold shift and draw your line down. So click, press and hold shift and draw straight down. I didn't go quite far enough, don't worry. And we can do the same going up. Now up here, I'm just going to start doing a little bit of shading. Just want to try and give this plank a bit of form. here to the smudge tool. Just going to smudge that carefully so it blends a bit better. And I can take an eraser and again I'm just going to pick out an edge like so. Okay, so I'll do that again and take a tiny bit of an edge. What that's doing is just giving your plank a lip. Are you okay there, dear?
Yeah.
Sure?
Bit squashed down on a while.
Take less out of it.
Let's say more June.
Okay, so you can see our beach house is starting to look a bit like a beach house. So I'm just going to return back to Designer and save it. So far so good? Huh?
Yeah, no comments. I'm going to cut somewhere out of the way.
Are you okay? Right, so next let's go back to our roof. So one of the other tricks that we have is we can actually start to build some tiles for our roof. Now obviously at this point, if you are a really confident person with your drawing, you can just go straight onto your roof and draw it in perfect perspective straight off. However, I want these, huh?
Carol says you're completely lost.
Oh, sorry. Where did I lose you, Carol? So what we've done so far is we've dragged in our wood textures and put them underneath our shapes. So as long as it steps in, remember it uses that shape as a mask. Okay, so that's our textures that we've brought in. We took them into Affinity Photo so that we could do the perspective on them. We've then done brushed in some colour so that our texture looks a bit more 3D and realistic.
At the start of the building works, but carry on.
At the start of the building works? Okay.
Let's just carry on.
Okay. Well,
We can chat afterwards.
we can chat afterwards and I can see if I can get you back on with it. So, next we're going to tile our roof.
Sarah says she's going to do it later so she can pause you if needed.
That might be a very good idea. Right, so I'm going to add a new layer. And into all that, I'm going to pop the items that I've just done. Go on in there, thank you. And I'm doing that just so that I don't interfere with anything else, because I'm going to use the brush tool next, so I don't want to have lots and lots of layers getting really complicated. I just want to be able to see all the elements that I'm drawing at once. So I'm going to move to a clear space on my drawing. Okay. And I am going to select my brush tool. Gonna bring it down a bit. And all I'm going to do is draw a wibbly wobbly tile. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a line, which is our next wibbly wobbly tile. Then I'm going to draw another wibbly wobbly tile. And the wibbly wobbly the better, because you know it's a beach hut. Wibbly wobbly tile and another wibbly wobbly tile. And I'm just going to pop another couple this end. Whoop. Let's try that again, shall we? And there. Okay. So far so good, hopefully. So what I'm looking for is just literally a line of tiles. Okay. And then if you wanted to, you can just copy elements of this top row in different orders to form your next bit. So take that out of there because I want that separate. Thank you. I'm just going to take that. So if I press and hold Alt and drag, I get a duplicate. And just to make it look different, we'll flip it. And let's go in there. So at this point we can start to edit our tiles so that our lines meet and don't cross. You can always go back and add other little ones as well if we need to. So I'm going to shift that up a little bit. Take that node out. Okay, and then go back to our brush just to join the gap. We can then select it all and do another copy. And again we can reverse it. And we just fix the top of our tiles. Now remember, this view is if you're looking straight onto a roof. So we're not worrying about the perspective on the tiles or anything like that.
Mr. Benyon is watching.
Hello, Chris. Hopefully you are having a good day. Okay, so we have our rough tile texture, and to that we can either add some thinner lines to give it texture, or we can add some shading. So for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all this into one element. If we take our tile up to our roof, we can see that it looks relatively big to the side of your roof, but that's okay. So I'm just going to unlock upper layer, and I'm going to drop it in there. So we now have our group and it's sitting on top of our texture. And again we can set that to multiply and save. Then go back into photo. Be nice. Okay. And with our group, I just want to rasterize it so that basically flattens everything. We're going to go to filter and distort and perspective, because then we can start to manipulate the angles of our tiles. So now what was a tiled roof that we were looking straight on at, we're now not looking straight on at anymore. And we can start to adjust the sizes if we need to. And I'm just going to drop that line underneath the line in our texture. And hit enter. Now add another pixel layer, and again I'm going to set that to multiply. I'm going to go to my brush, and then we can start to build up our colour. How are we doing?
Okay.
Thinking that's not going very strong. There we go. Anybody go and help yet? Other than Carol. So at the top of each tile I'm just doing a little arc of shadow. Likewise, I'm going to go reduce my opacity a little, so about halfway. Just going to go underneath these tiled sections here. And then we can start to pop a little bit of shadow down in the tiles that sit higher than the others, just so that we start to build up where tiles overlap, and it'll make your roof look a lot more three-dimensional. going to go around and tidy up using a little eraser just to clear up any of the blurred edges that will have spilt over into our tiles. You want to go careful wherever you have a shadow that's coming down this way that you don't accidentally go over the top of it. Any questions?
I'm not been admitting to.
If you do have any questions at any point, it's absolutely fine to ask. Don't feel like you can't. Okay, so I'm happy with my tiles now. I'm supposed to be doing a red and white door now, aren't I? Oh.
Well, red striped. They leave it navy blue with a red stripe.
Okay. So to do that, we can use our marquee tool, which is M, and basically you click and drag your marching ants. If we then press shift, it's not going to do it on here just because it's going to be naughty. Okay, get to that up there. Saves me pressing and holding shift then. You can just select add at the top instead when it's misbehaving. Right, and we go to our ready colour. And we can spray our door. Whee! There we go. So far we have our beach hut with our seascape.
Deck chair missing.
Deck chair next.
And brass knocker on the door.
Oh yeah, the brass knocker. I forgot the brass knocker, didn't I? I do love a challenge. Okay, gonna have to zoom right in for this one.
I'm sure it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It can just be,
Oh, there's me hoping for elaborate.
well, you can do a labyrinth one if you want to.
Okay, I'm thinking about that, so let's just check that. That kind of works. Install this one.
Oh, it's nice and high, is it?
Yeah. Oh dear.
Not designed for short people.
Yeah. If ever you want a shelf put up, don't ask Ian to put it up if you're short.
Not my fault, I'm 6'2".
Okay.
So, such demands, Natalie.
It's all very well you haven't seen the shelf in the front room.
What? It's straight. What can you ask for?
Oh, within reach would be good.
Well, it's straight, it's on the wall. It hasn't fallen down on you.
That's almost symmetrical. It's well worth a wall, and that's my excuse not sticking to it. dear.
So they complain about making reach.
There we go. Kind of. Just when it seemed that. It's only tiny. What? You're taking the mick out,
I
Mark.
don't make out of anything. Wouldn't dream of it.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly go back to my brush.
Cal said it looks like a Halloween ghost.
It doesn't matter for the size it's going to be. It's not about being accurate, it's about giving the right impression. Pop in another layer on that because I want to get there.
No, absolutely, Sarah. Couldn't agree more.
What's that?
Because we can't be good at everything, can we, Ian? That's just no, but one thing would be good.
Hey, would the thought have even crossed my mind?
Yep. I could tell from the sniggering in the corner.
I could have just been laughing at my door handle. Could be. There we go.
What did I
Me? No. Okay. So I think I'm happy at this point to go back to designer. Maybe. Come on. There we go. And save. There's one bit I'm going to do next. So what I've done, if I shrink that up, is I've gone to my pen tool and I'm just going to click once and let's take it up there because it's a bit wonky, okay? And I'm going to click there. And I want that to be straight and I want that to be a curve because I want it to drape. So, in there. And this one's going to be a curve too. And we're going to drape. And in my stroke, I'm going to set it to a dash line. I want a gap of 6. And I'm going to make my dashes a bit bigger so you can see them. Set it to 0.
That termite's crawling up the side.
Actually, there we go. That's better, 3. And I'm going to set it to, you're just being cheeky now. Don't like you anymore. And I've got some little string of lights, or you can add a little banner if you want to. So be boring and go on. And remember to get rid of the stroke again, otherwise it will be, oh, that one. There we go. I'm going to set that to our little sun colour. I'm just doing just a few copies of it and then I can rejig after. So we can go in here. Just a little bit high for me. And we can put those all together into one shape. Better. Slightly lighter. It's definitely a man shed, that one.
Is it?
It's not a she shed. Otherwise it'd be pink.
Man cave, is it?
Yeah, man cave.
Sure, you're going to get me when this is all over, isn't it? A beach shot on the...
If you're lucky. Depends on if you're going to put my shelves up there so I can't reach them. Deck chair. Trying to think perspective wise how we could do it. Okay, we'll start and map it out and see how we go. This might be useful for drawing in black. There we go. So we're going to have chair there. It's going to curve here because you know it's worn from all the sitting, doing nothing. So at this point I'm going to fill it in white. And I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to fill it in the red. Get rid of the stroke. I'm going to rasterize that so it's pixel out, and I'm going to drop it into my bench. Well, see. Then I'm going to go into my pixel persona in Designer. I'm going to go to brush. I'm going to take the hardness up to 100. I'm going to take the opacity to 100. I'm going to take my size down Okay, and let's try this then. Come on, be good for me. Come on, don't play me up. Do it that way then. Take it right. Oh, you stupid thing. There we go. Thank you. Not sure. Not sure I like that. Let's take the hardness down a little bit. That's better. Okay, because we're going to be coming on. Next I'm going to shrink the brush down a little bit so we can fit in and join up these lines. At this point, don't worry about the join just yet. Take the stabilizer off. And we can start to just blend these lines in. Wow. Okay, to that I'm going to add another pixel layer, and that's because I want to do shading, but I want to do it in such a way that I can go back and edit it if need be. I'm going to go to the blue colour and I want to use a much bigger brush. I want to have it completely soft. I'm going to select my layers and multiply so that your brushwork then becomes translucent.
Karen says it's fascinating to watch. And so Lou has asked what graphics pad you're using, much easier than using a mouse I imagine. Do you use for most things in Affinity instead of a mouse?
If I am drawing, painting, colouring, then yes. Or if I'm doing brushwork, yes, every time I will use the graphics tablet. If I'm doing something like a cut file for a box or something where I need to be accurate, I will go back to a mouse every time.
And the tablet is a Wacom Intuos Pro, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Medium size or large? I don't remember.
I'm sure it says underneath. She says it's a medium.
It's medium, though.
Yeah. So it basically equates to an A4 piece of paper. But in terms of if you want to if you're looking to get one and you're starting right from having never used one, have a look at the Hawaiians instead, because the Wacoms are a considered purchase, that's the way I'll put it. Aren't they?
The polling got was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Hawaiians have some fantastic bundles. So you have like I haven't got it here, have I? You have like a 2-finger glove, which basically goes on your little finger and your ring finger, and that stops you most tablets these days are pen and touch, so you're not accidentally smudging your work. They're also the same gloves that you wear for drawing, so if you find you're smudging your work, they're actually quite invaluable. It comes with a little pouch to put it in as well, doesn't it? And I saw a really funky model the other day where it will actually connect both to your computer and to your tablet. So you can use it as if you've got like a Apple Pencil for the iPad or the Wacom stylus for Android. But when I was working doing photo retouching, they hadn't actually got a graphics tablet. I ended up taking my own in there. Then everybody was like, "Oh, I want one of those."
Is that you the old bamboo one?
Yeah. The bamboo graphite. Isn't it?
Yeah, with
Nice.
Bluetooth.
With the Bluetooth. So I've just left in a bit of a highlight just to show that is curving back up. So we now have our seating. And I'm going to go back to Vector and save. Most important thing, remember to save. So next I'm going to do a point to point. And this is handy if ever you're not sure about the perspective of something but you know it goes from point A to point B, just use your pen tool just to put in a line. And we can even put it in the brownie colour. And if we increase our stroke width, not that much, there we go. And we can even use pressure just to fake it a little bit so that we've got a bit of a taper on it as it comes down towards the front. Now if you find that you've done it the wrong way around, that's fine, because at any point you can flip it. Okay, so if we go to this one here, it reverses your curve. Now that can be quite a handy tool for if you've done a complex shape and you'll find it's not cutting well. If you reverse it, sometimes it will cut much better. Okay, so that's just on the end bit here. How are we doing? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Try to think which way the legs go because they cross over, don't they? So say that one's going to go from there.
Depends how old it is.
Yeah. And again, it's going to do it that way around. Just so it looks a bit more like it's going off into the distance. We can always adjust the width after, so that's fine. Ooh. And just click off it and go back to your pen tool. And we can do the same there. And again, depending which way you think looks better, I think we might go for that one. And you can even put an extra point in it, and we can start to do things like curves, just to make it look a little bit more stylised. And then whatever you do, you can group, duplicate using Ctrl and J or Command and J. Pop it the other side, then you're going to drag it and put it underneath your chair so you can see it on the other side. And if you need to, you can always just nudge it slightly just to get it to line up. There we go. And maybe just take it down just a little bit. Not bad. Okay. Any questions yet?
I've been asking as we go, so.
So now that we've done that, we can look at that and go, well, actually, that looks a little bit like that needs to be bigger because the distance to here. So we can then, we'll group it, take it out of our, oh, there we go. And these bits need to go into that group there. And then we can play around if we want it a little bit thinner, a little bit taller. And we can move it down. That way we're bringing the eye through. And ideally you want to put something just in the distance over there. So like a little silhouette of a boat would be absolutely perfect.
Put a boat. Make it a boat. Submarine.
Submarine.
It's a little periscope.
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to really cheat. Just because I want something. So
use your boat tool.
No. I'm going to be even more of a cheat than that. So if we go like that, like that.
Turn your hat upside down and shrink it.
Oh.
Put birds in the sky.
Ah. What's wrong with my birds?
Nothing.
There we go. And another curve. And with this last one, just reduce your line width a bit because we're going to make it smaller. And same with that one, just use it slightly so that you get an illusion of depth. we go. And save.
Zoom it out so we can see all of it.
Hmm?
Can't see all of it.
Yeah, you can.
I can, they've moved it. You couldn't because screen.
Okay, so now's the time to wow us with your little landscape scene or backdrop if you just want to do the backdrop. Or ask questions. I think I might just lower the opacity on that one a little bit.
So Lou says brilliant. The little dude with sunglasses. And Carol says amazing.
There we go. You can hear the birds from here. They're being very quiet today, actually.
They are. I've been blown away by that bridge.
Any questions? Is that it?
Yep. That's done then.
Okay. So we'll see you tomorrow. Now tomorrow we're going to be doing something totally different. So in the morning we are going to be setting up a file for watercolouring. Then we're going to get the scanner cut to draw it onto some watercolour paper. And in the afternoon we are going to be doing some watercolouring. So I know Leslie has her colouring stream at, she said she was going to go earlier into quarter past one. So if you join Leslie at 1:15, what I've said is you can use the same watercolour pencils for our show at 2. Okay, so there's no need to get panicked and rushing around because we will have set everything up in the morning so you can go and colour with Leslie and then come back to us. And I think that's it for today.
Pete at 4.
Yep.
For his live card making. Always worth a watch. And then you got Barbara in the morning for her doodles. Which again, a nice chill out first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I certainly know the difference when I haven't done them.
Again, thank you all very much, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And all of your designs obviously being put on the group.
Yeah, don't forget to start a folder in the albums as well for all the work that you're doing. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.